So this is a part two. So Dominicans are very, very proud people. I mean, they could be dark skinned, but they're proud people. So they would never admit to be black, which in a way is something that's good and bad. I see there's some positive things about it. However, I see a lot of ignorance and then pride mixed with ignorance is probably an atomic weapon in there that can destroy the self. Because one of the things I see that happens a lot in the Dominican Republic is a lot of racism. A lot of racism, even among people who are considered black. They're racist against the darkest skinned one. If you're the darkest skin in the group, they most likely. Not everyone will show it because a lot of people have discipline. They discipline themselves not to show their racism up front, but with themselves and with each other, yes, they will do this, and they might make jokes about black people and all of that, even though they pretend to accept you, especially if you are from the United States. They like that because they know you have dollars too. A lot of them want that closeness to you because they figure that you come from when there's money. But it's not because they accept you as black people or as African descent or dark melanin. They do not. Most people do not. Now, there's a percentage of Dominican that they don't care. I don't claim myself to be Dominican because the Dominican is a Vatican order. It's not sitting in Italy. Think about it. How an island in the middle of the Caribbean get the name of Dominican Republic. And then when you hear the national anthem, which is the anthem after independence, never Dominican is mentioned there. But the nation, Quisqueya, is mentioned in the national anthem. And some Dominicans have the craziness to suggest to me that it was because when independence was founded or declared, the national anthem was not written yet. And then the same person suggested to me when I said, well, wait a minute, so if the national anthem wasn't written yet, why do they mention Quisqueya and not Dominican Republic? Then she says to me, and it was because they weren't sure if they would call it Dominican Republic or Quisqueya. Like, no, don't you understand what the Declaration of Independence is? Huh? You have to enact a constitution. And the country has to be named in the constitution. So what is the name in the constitution? If the national anthem talks about Quisqueya, and it's beautiful, it will give you goosebumps just to listen to the national anthem if you can understand good Spanish. It's beautiful. But what happened to the Dominican Republic that after it got its independence, it has been taken over by Spain and Europe. Same thing that happened here in North America. So to the point that most Dominicans right now don't know they are Americans and they are indigenous of this continent. They don't. They completely ignore that. They ignore their own history because they want to go with the status quo of education. And they don't understand that education is erasing their heritage. There were 6 nation tribes in that island. 6 nation tribes who were almost annihilated by Spain. And they came France. What do you think? Haiti's right there. And they speaks French. We're one and the same. It doesn't matter. Whatever really somebody says or happen. If we don't fix Haiti, We cannot have a fixed Dominican Republic because it's one island. And it's the island of Quisqueya. It doesn't matter what corporation comes in and settle grounds in there and settle shop and create a business out of it and call it the Dominican Republic. I don't give a shit about that. I go back to roots. The melanated man goes back to root. The melanated educated man, as you educate yourself, you go back to root. You don't stay on the surface. You don't stay on corporational names and little flags waving shit around. They're like, fuck that. I don't vibe with that. I vibe with nature. I vibe with mankind. I vibe with humanity. I vibe with this whole creative process that is taking place in the humankind. Calling yourself this and this is branding. It's not any different than Dolce & Gabbana and all this bullshit. Dominicans are indigenous. And that's it, of the Americas. They are indigenous of the Americas. They belong to this whole piece of land. Don't allow Europe to come and tell you who you are and what you are. Champion.